What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be playing around with a game called Graven. We had the opportunity to take a look at this game a year or two back when it first came out in early access, and now the game is finally exiting its journey from an early access game into a fully fledged 1.0. This is one of those games that has mixed reviews right now, but I think it has mixed reviews because people are like fundamentally misunderstanding what the game is. And so I'd like to clear that up ever so slightly while we play the game here today. Over the course of the early access and also this release pre-build that they fired on over, I have played the game for roughly about 6 hours, and so I think I've got my thoughts collected. But for right now, let's take a look at the game, let's have a good time, and let's see the way that this goes. If after watching this, you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description. You can check it out there. On top of that, you can also find a link to my Discord and my Twitch stream, just in case you wanted to hang out live on any given day of the week. Although I might be stepping that back in all honesty. I've been getting the feeling lately that like square peg round hole about streaming and like the amount of time that I put into it versus what it actually does for my life and my workflow. So it may not be an everyday thing anymore pretty soon. But let's go ahead and dive on into Graven. So what is Graven? Graven is an OG-inspired FPS RPG, actually. I would say that the split here is about 80% FPS, 20% RPG. However, the game does have a lot of wide exploratory areas that you can fool around with. There are different ways to tackle challenges and a lot of tools you can use along the way in order to get that done. I definitely feel the influence of like Quake in here a little bit. I think I feel the influence of something like Dark Messiah of Might and Magic probably inside this one as well. It's also a game that just has a little bit of Heretic and Hexen inside of there, although I think that's just the wizardry being drawn out that maybe people have making that decision right there to call it like a Heretic or a Hexen-like. I don't actually think it has that much in common, really, with the, oh man, I blowed myself up. That's unfortunate. I don't think it has, so there's like a giant dog beast down there in the swamp. I was gonna smack that and run by it, and then, you know, when he came over, it would blow him up. Unfortunately, that wasn't really the way that it went. So now I gotta use some of my healing potions. But I do think that the Heretic and the Hexen comparison is actually only surface deep after having played the game for a little while. I don't think that this game is a boomer shooter. I don't think it's trying to be an id-style boomer shooter either. I think this game is kind of just like a very lightly RPG'd FPS hybrid with large sort of sprawling open world areas that you explore, and then you also kind of take a look around and find secrets sort of in the Doom or Wolfenstein tradition. But at the same time, it's still a game where you have a quest log, and it's a game where you can read books that you find all over the place, and it's a game where you get gold and you spend it in shops in like a hub area when you get back to upgrade your weaponry and add more filigree and more damage to them. And if you ignore those upgrades, you're gonna have a hard time as you get into like later areas of the game. And so I think what's happened here and why the game is sitting at mixed reviews is A, because the update rate for this game was very slow in early access. They did not put out a whole lot of updates in a very timely manner, and that right there I can't really argue with. That's one of those things where it's like, well, fair enough, you know, the customer is always right in matters of taste. There's a second half to that, by the way. People always take the customer is right in sort of like an American mercantile sense to mean that the customer is always right no matter what as long as you make a sale. There's a second half to that sentence, in matters of taste. It was never meant to be a saying that meant the customer was always right. It was in matters of taste was the second half of that, which means that if a customer likes something, agree with them and then sell it to them. It does not mean, you know, what people have said, which is, you know, the customer is always right about everything, including screaming in your face. It's one of those weird sayings that's really been taken out of context. But back to what I was originally saying, the second half of it is that there seems to be this idea from a lot of the reviews that this game is meant to be sort of an Ultra Kill style Doom Eternal, you know, boomer shooter influence, something like Proteus, where you're running around with like a triple minigun blasting things, dodge sliding all over the place. Not the case at all, in my opinion. This one, you can feel the RPG influence a little bit too heavily, slowing down the gameplay ever so slightly and making it a little bit more contemplative with how you want to tackle your challenges and how you want to traverse levels. There's also a Metroidvania influence here, where this is why I say this game is not Heretic or Hexen. Heretic and Hexen, the spells, they take center stage. Big cracked wall right there. What does this say? I gotta find the... There we go. They appeared so quickly, we just wanted to aid the blacksmith, but out of nowhere the creatures appeared. We ran as fast as we could, and luckily they couldn't keep up. The plant life around here should give us some cover, but I fear that we will be found eventually. I can only hope that our deaths are a swift one, at least for young Adrana. He isn't a child anymore, but he's still so young that he doesn't deserve a slow, painful death. Gotcha. I think this needs the peat launcher in order to get through there. But as I was saying, people are going to draw the comparison to Heretic and Hexen because you can whip out a spell book and you can cast a fire spell or you can shoot lightning or whatever else. And I think it's a little bit off center with the aim of the shot. I think the arrow is not going to hit the bullseye there. You should think of the spells in this game as Metroidvania things like a double jump. They're a progression mechanic. This is not a game where the fire spell is ever going to do enough damage to make you happy. This is a game where the fire spell will allow you to destroy spider webs that are slowing you down in combat. It will allow you to light doors on fire to break them open if you can't kick them open, but it looks like the wood is old. It's one of those games, so consider it like... I don't know if I can shoot that right there. It sort of looks like I can, but there may be another way to get that down. Huh. I think we definitely want that to fall. I may need to take a look around for a second to have kind of a bird's eye view on what this map is trying to do. So we got gargoyles over here. There will be some light puzzle solving along the way too. We got switch. Ooh, giant bags of gold. Nice, dude. Definitely could use that. There we go. I needed all the gargoyles to face the same direction, and that came down right there. Actually, a pretty simple puzzle. I think it was just like right, left. I think was pretty much it. But there we go. We've now got a new spell that we can add to our collection of abilities. But think of the spells in this game not as offensive utilities. Some of them are. For example, I think the lightning will actually... So I got to go to my inventory here. We got to kind of like organize our inventory too. And some things I think can't really be taken off your hotbar. So like, for example, if you've got like the sword in here, I'm going to take that off for a second. With my spell book. Oh, you switch the spell with F. Gotcha. Okay, cool. I forgot about that from the last time I played the game. But you should think of these as progression mechanics. I think you can electrify the water. Yeah, if I remember that, you can electrify and stun things that are in the water for sure. But the general purpose use of most of the spells in this game is actually to get you through doors or to activate things. So like if I zap that right there, yeah, I was going to say it should trip the circuit and then the door will come open. I remember that from the last time I played through the game. And so that's what I mean, is that I think like people are kind of getting the wrong idea with this game, where it's sort of like a 60% FPS, but like a slower pace. Oh, Jesus! But like also a slower paced one. What do you want? What do you want, big dog? What do you want with me? Get on out of here. I decapitate you. It's kind of like a 70% FPS, 20% RPG, like 10% Metroidvania with like some utility spells in there. It's just one of those titles that I think is meant to confound people, and I think that when they see the aesthetic and they see the concept art and they see the screenshots, they assume it's a boomer shooter, and then they leave a negative review thinking that they were going to play Doom 2016 the entire time, or that they were going to play Proteus, or that they were going to play any of the other major boomer shooters that have come out over the last like 10 years or so. And just not the case. This is not Sulaco, this is not Supplice, this is not Cultic, this is not any of those games. This is a much slower, much more plodding FPS that happens to have some RPG influences on it and some Metroidvania influences on it as well. And I think that's honestly the biggest takeaway that I can put inside of this video, because I think other than that little misconception in the way that the marketing has been handled for this game, it is in fact quite a good little FPS. I like it. I've enjoyed the exploration. I've enjoyed looking around the maps. I just think that if you come into this one expecting it to be a miniguns out, you know, giblet fest, this is not going to be a fun title. I'm just going to kill this guy right now through the gate. There is a little bit of jank to the game, like this right here, where enemies will aggro through closed doors, and then you're able to smack them. Ideally, you would want a collision plane right here, or like an interactive plane right there, so that the player would not be allowed to like cheese their way through mobs that would not be able to get to them, like so. So once I find this key, I'm going to be able to come back here. What does this say right here, by the way? Reserve peat storage. Gotcha. Everything that explodes in this game is based on peat and peat bricks. I think I need to drop right here. Yeah, that looks about right. There we go. And we got a little bit of HP right there that'll finish off our HP meter. I did not expect there to be a big beefy dog right here. What are you doing there, bro? Would a crossbow bolt to the butthole solve whatever ails you? Because I happen to happen, I have a lot of butthole crossbow bolts that are ready for deployment if that's what you need. These little bats right here drive me nuts. Like, they fill up like an entire area with poison. They're actually kind of a headache. I might need to bait him back around the corner. Or did I hit him? I don't know if I got him. There's another one up there that I would rather not deal with if I don't have to. So he's now down. Is there any way to climb up over here, or do I have to get through on this side? It looks like... Oh, he's firing back. Okay. There we go. I got him right there. Okay, so we've got boobity traps over here. I don't know if I can crouch underneath these. Looks like there's a switch over there. I mean, honestly, I think that went better than I expected it to go. I'll take it. Like, getting hit only once inside of there, I was having trouble plotting the spacing of the shots, too. So I'm okay with this. Let's go back to my health potions out here. Love this little animation, by the way. Good stuff right there. The game is full of good little animations. So, for example, you'll notice that when I slay enemies with my sword, it will get blood on it, and then eventually he'll use magic to, like, wipe or, like, burn all the blood off the sword. There's cool little interactions like that, and the level design does seem to be intelligent in the respect that it's got loopbacks. There are little things that I have problems with in this game. So, for example, not being able to save whenever I want, which is kind of like, I don't know. I come from the age of Wolfenstein and Doom and whatnot, so I consider it to be just sort of like par for the course standard that I be able to save wherever the hell I want, like in a level. I'm a F5 spamming maniac, all right? So when I don't have access to my F5 spam, I get a little bit nervous deep down inside my tummy bits. However, though, by and large, the checkpoints seem to be pretty frequent, and also they seem to be spaced well. I don't like checkpoint-based gameplay. I'm not a big checkpoint gameplay guy, but it's not that obnoxious in the way that it works. There's our key that goes to that door right there. How bad is this room about to be? Pretty bad. How big was that AoE right there? Did I get him? Okay, I done got him. Shoot that guy down right there, too. Enemies do have different hit zones, so if you hit them in the head, there are some interesting interactions in this game. For example, if you hit a skeleton in the head, there's always a chance that it will decapitate them, but because they're skeletons, they don't die. They just wander around, unable to use their eyeballs to see you. You can light guys on fire. I can't speak as to the efficacy of whether or not it's going to kill the zombie. My experience thus far has been that, like, no, it probably won't. My first intent was to use kind of like the flamethrower spell as sort of like a cone of flame spell from, like, Dungeons and Dragons. Doesn't work like that. It's not a flamethrower. It's just used to, like, light candles, solve puzzles, do that kind of stuff. I think I know what they want me to do here. Yeah, it seems to have did it. If nothing else, it knocked the shields off those guys, so that's good. I don't really have a whole lot of bullets left, so I think I'll stick with my sword for a minute and just wipe these guys on out. At the moment, what I'm trying to do, if you don't know anything about the setting, Graven is a post-apocalyptic medieval zombie game. So that is the setting, is that you are inside of a place called Cruxforth. You are a priest that has been sentenced to die, effectively. You've been sent out here for some kind of crime. They haven't really said, but your character has a large spiky collar around his neck, like a penance collar, and you are a priest who apparently was accused of being corrupt or something. It hasn't really been explained yet exactly why I was condemned to be sent here, but Cruxforth has been taken over by the undead. In order to earn my penance, I must banish the undead. The boiled and treated leather skin of a horrid beast repurposed to protect. I'll take it. Anything that works out. This guy right here, I think, a canister of peat for fast refueling. Okay. As I was saying, though, there are interesting interactions with the weapons where if you, like, knock the head off a skeleton, they just sort of wander around and can't see you anymore, and they swing wildly, just hoping to hit you on accident. Now, there are little interactions like that in this game that are pretty fun. I don't know if it's quite on the same level as some of the other shooters that are out there, but I kind of like what this game is going for, because all of the twitchy ultra kill style games just do not work for me at all on a fundamental level. I don't enjoy them. I don't like all the kicking off the wall, sliding along the ground gameplay. I don't find it entertaining or charming. I tend to like slower, more contemplative games like Escape from Tarkov, where you've got to like go through your utilities, or I actually like this game's sort of Metroidvania-infused gameplay as well quite a bit. It sort of keeps me entertained, and exploration is obviously going to be a big part of this game. You'll find pickups and objects squirreled away all over the place, hiding everywhere. There are entire secret areas, even inside the hub area. Check every door is my piece of advice for you. Check doors. Oh, we've got zombies coming out of a pile over here, huh? Okay, we'll take you guys out. Can I destroy the zombie pile? I think I need to light it on fire, if I remember correctly, to get rid of it. Oh, Jesus. Okay, yep, not great. Definitely not in the mood to deal with you, and also I'm out of stamina right now. You do have a stamina meter in this game. This is one of the stranger choices for this game, I think. I'm not inherently against the stamina meter, but you do have a stamina meter, which means you can only swing your weapon a certain amount of time. You can only sprint a certain amount of time. I'm guessing that was probably their intent, to get like a little bit more RPG gameplay in there. But ultimately what it turns out to be for a game that has the enemy density that this game has, it's kind of like a hindrance. I don't know if it adds to the game. Like, I don't think it subtracts from the game, but I don't think it adds to the game either. It's just kind of one of those head-scratchy mechanics that's in the game that you're like, okay, so it's like an FPS, but I have a stamina meter that determines how much I can swing my stick. Maybe it's just because we're supposed to be like a non-melee class or whatever, and that's what's got it done in right there. I'm still getting... Did I destroy that body pile? Luckily, it seems like the stamina hasn't really been that big of a problem for me while I've been playing the game. I've only run out like a couple of times while playing. And usually when I'm using the staff or sprinting a lot, the sword seems to alleviate it quite a bit. So if you don't like the stamina system, I would say stick with the sword. It's probably the utility you'll like best. We've got like a pile of stink fart over here that I'm trying to fight around. And they're not making it easy. This also has kind of like that vibe of an area that might have secrets. Can I burn that? I can. Are those explodey barrels? Please, God, don't be explodey barrels. Oh, there's more of you. Did I miss a spawn? Pray tell? There's got to be another body pile out here. Impacts in this game feel good. Sound effects are well selected. I'm not a big crossbow fan, but I don't hate the way the crossbow feels. I think they gave it a rapid enough fire rate to where I don't despise it. Usually I'm not a big crossbow or bow guy in video games. I'm just not. But in the case of this game, I haven't hated my time that I've spent with the crossbow. It's got a little bit of a punchy sound to it. Were there any more things for me to pick up over here? I know I left a bunch of health over there, but I wasn't sure if I left any arrows. Alright, let's go down in here and see what this place has for us. The zones and locations do kind of like loop back into each other, and it has been the case that like there are these odd tie-ins from one zone to another through some of the secrets that I think are there to help you easier access like secret areas or something. I haven't really been able to get to the bottom of it yet, so we need a key for over here. Those are explodey barrels. I was hoping the explodey barrels might kill off the tentacle right there. As of yet, I haven't found the utility that allows me to get rid of tentacles, and so I'm not super sure what this area is for, but we do have a chest. Bunch of money. I'll take it. Bunch of money is good. My upgrades are getting expensive back in town. It also looks like... Is there anything down and underneath right here? I think I need to check. I mean, there's a health potion. No switches or anything back down in here. Sometimes there's switches and things hidden in little nooks like that, so I would take a look if you're not quite sure. A lot of money, though, that we just brought in. So I think when we get back to Cruxforth, right now I'm trying to light a lighthouse. That's my main quest at the moment. There are side quests. It will tell you what zone they're in, and you get various rewards for those that will allow you to upgrade your character in various ways. So keep an eye out for it. Sort of curious why there's spider webs up there, too. Interesting. But my main goal right now is that I'm supposed to be lighting a lighthouse. And when I light that lighthouse, it's going to draw the undead away because they're attracted to light. And that's going to take some of the strain off the town guard. That's the goal anyways. All right, buddy. Let's dance, fancy man. Let's dance, fancy man. I got you covered. Is he gonna, like, jump over? I think I gotta, like, crawl through, maybe. Carefully. My pride and joy. Some say a son is a man's legacy, but this lighthouse is mine. Tall and proud, guidance, safety, prosperity. True, the marshes are near, but the ground is solid. Nothing in nature could bring the tower down. For generations to come, it will bear my name in the minds of those aided by it. Yeah, but they're gonna rename it, dude. They always, like, for example, there's a bunch of areas where I grew up that I'm sure someone that built, like, a tunnel or built some civic advancement or something thought that their name was going to be on it forever, but eventually they'll name it after some actor or something to gain political points and get reelected, and then it won't have your name anymore. That's what they always do. I hate ladders in first-person shooters. Have I ever mentioned that? What is that right there? Oh, no, I missed. What is that? I'm just going to drop down on it. I got plenty of healing. There we go. What are you? Yo, all right. Hell yeah, dude. I found a orthogonal sign. I saw the sign, and it buffed up my HP. I saw the sign. Zombies, you want to get got? There we go. There's a band you never hear anything about anymore. Ace of Base. My thing about Ace of Base is they use the same beat in every song. Like, my mom had one of their albums when I was growing up, and I swear to God, I listened to it in the car one time because my sister had a ballet recital, and when you're 11 years old, the last thing you want to do is go to your sister's ballet recital because you're trying to be all cool and punk rock and stuff. And so anyways, I listened to the entirety of an Ace of Base album. And, you know, I feel like they could have diversified their choices of beats. I'll be honest with you. They could have diversified a little bit. But then again, like, didn't they, like, win Grammys or something? So, like, I've never won a Grammy, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. My musical career was a resounding failure. So, like, what are you gonna do? Die, zombie. All right, down goes the enemy. Oh, there's a body pile over here. It makes so much sense. All right, let me light... Oh, nope, that's not the spell that I need. There we go. I'll take that one right there. Thank you. Clunk, go to sleep. Enjoy your eternal rest. There we go. I knew it was going to pop eventually. Can I jump over this stoon over here? I can't. I don't remember how you light this bad boy. It looks like that might work. Or at least it'll allow me access maybe to get in here. Yeah, that looks about right to me. That looks like the thing that I need to light. Kill them zombies off real quick. Couple of peat bricks in here. I don't have the peat brick gun yet. Put that right there. Put that right there. Light it. There goes the flame, and hey, up goes the lighthouse. There we go. My quest is now completed. I don't know if those orthogonal shrine things were in the game the last time I played. I don't know. This seems like kind of the time where they'll make me fight a boss, too. We're like in a big wide open area. Most of the enemies are dead. Get rid of that body pile real quick. Looks like I can zappinate the zombies if I want to. Stuns them up pretty good. I don't really have any water to play around with right now to, like, get the stun going even more, but, you know, maybe someday. You can kill the little crows and whatnot too, but I did want to update my coverage of this game, I guess is my point. Because I think this is actually like a cool first-person shooter that's a little bit slower paced than the things that are in vogue right now. It's a little bit more exploration based than the things that are in vogue right now. And I think boomer shooters have become so ridiculously popular that that's just the first cultural touchstone that everybody goes for whenever they see any shooter that has sort of like a retro aesthetic. They just assume that it's trying to be a boomer shooter a la Proteus or Cultic or something like that. Something balls to the wall, something plosive, something with lots of chain guns and, you know, quadruple shotguns and things like that. Doom Eternal, you know, badass sliding around while you murder demons. And I don't think that this game is actually trying to be that. I don't think. This game is trying to be something a little bit slower and a little bit more interactive with the environment, like something like Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, but almost like a watered-down Dark Messiah of Might and Magic that leans more in like the shooter direction, but still likes a little bit of the exploration. Like I said, it's one of those games that's like 70% shooter, 20% RPG, 10% sort of utility-based Metroidvania almost. And so I think that's an interesting combo. And I think it does kind of make this game stand out if that's the sort of gameplay that you're looking for. However, if you're trying to play a boomer shooter, I can virtually promise you, you're going to be disappointed with this one because I don't think it's trying to service that audience at all, even in the slightest. It's just one of those weird misconceptions that a lot of the reviews that are mixed seem to have about the game, so long as they're not about the game taking too long to develop. This guy is Cruxforth over here. So like I said, there's no loading screens in this game. It's all one big open world that interconnects more and more as you open up levels and as you find keys and as you find utilities that open gates and things. There are shops here, so for example, I could talk to the blacksmith, and if I wanted to upgrade my cuff arrow, I could do that for $1,000. If I wanted to upgrade my short sword, I could do that. There is an associated change in the way that the weapon looks when you upgrade it, which is very nice. You can also refill your armor meter over here if you wanted to. I haven't gotten to whatever those are just yet. I'm guessing they're a resource we use to take these guys up above, like Epic or something like that. I do like the sword quite a bit, so I'll probably upgrade the sword, I think. Yeah, go ahead and do that. There's the case of this button being weirdly off screen right now. How strange. Apparently the button is just cut off down there. However, you can change the FOV. All the basic settings are here that you're going to need for an FPS experience. Things like being able to disable the screen shake and stuff like that are all there. And so anyways, I like the game. I think it's cool. I wouldn't give it like a 10 out of 10 or anything. It's not really doing anything crazy, unique, or interesting that you haven't seen before. But they are mixing up ingredients in a different way, which I think for me led to a satisfying gameplay experience. The game is currently like $25. If you're not sure about it, wait till it goes on sale for like $15. That's the spot where for me personally, I would be like, hell yeah, I got more than my money's worth. It's right about $15. But in the case... that was boarded up, but I can't open it. All right, fair enough. But in any case, I wanted to update my coverage. I wanted to show off the game because I like it. I think it's a pretty fun little game. I will see you all next time. Thank you for stopping on in. That's about all I got for you. Bye, folks.